love you. We love you because you chose not to give up. You are a big inspiration to a lot of us out there. Like when we see where you started and where you are now, we say that you are actually you've done well for yourself, and we're so proud of you, and we pray that you keep moving from one celebration to another. You will not be weakened in Jesus' name. Amen. That is our prayer for you from all of us as Primus Media City, especially from myself, because I'm so proud of you. And if you are out there, if there's anything you are doing and you feel that you are not motivated, I used to say this: you do not need people to say that you're actually doing some things. There are things that when you are doing it, you don't actually need people to tell you that, okay, you are doing right. Just keep on doing it. A time will come that people will see what you are doing and they are going to celebrate you. So don't think because people are not celebrating you now, then you have to feel bad. Like you have to feel like, okay, it's not working, you're not motivated. You don't need people to start clapping for you. Just keep doing your work. Just keep doing it. Just keep building yourself. Yes, keep building yourself. Keep building yourself. One day, everything is just going to be fine. My name is Ajanaku, and this is Celebrity Gist on Primus Media City. We are at Sharp Corner, and you can always walk in. If there's anything you're doing and you want us to talk about it, you can always come in. We'll talk about it. We celebrate you. Yes, we celebrate people. That is what we do. Everyone is a celebrity. That is why we celebrate everyone. Everyone is a celebrity. Today we are going to have a lawyer and a policy expert, Mr. Olubunmi. Yes, he's going to be joining us anytime soon. He's going to talk to us about our right to vote as a citizen, things we need to do, how we need to. Someone asked me that, do you think we should educate voters? Yes, we should educate voters. Voters need to be educated. You need to tell them there are things that some voters do not know, so you need to educate them. Yes. Another thing is, yes, we have a law that guides every right. Yes, there is a law that guides the rights of the citizen. There are things that you shouldn't do as a voters. There are things that you can do as a voters, and these are things that we are going to be discussing. And if you have any question, you can always drop your question on YouTube, on our Instagram page, and on our Facebook page. You can always drop your question there. And even if it is after the show, you can always drop a question. We'll always attend to it. Another thing I want to say is that before we bring our guest is that you do not have to play on yourself. Yes. When I mean play on yourself, it means that you do not need to deceive yourself. Whatever it is that you know that you are doing, you need to work more on it. You need to keep building yourself. You're going to make mistakes. Yes, mistake is allowed. Mistake is very, very much allowed. So whatever it is that you are doing, you can make mistakes. You can do things. You can learn. You can keep learning. You can keep learning. You can keep learning. People don't. One thing that I notice about people now is that people just want that celebrated time. People don't want to work. They don't know that before anybody can be celebrated, there are times that they've put a lot of things together. Number two is that do not look at what is happening on social media. So many people measure the way they are doing well based on what they see on social media. They see people on social media, spending money, doing all sorts of things, and they want to be like them. Like, you want to be like someone who has been putting a lot of things on him or herself for a very long time, and you want to be like that person. That is a very, very wrong idea. Whatever it is that you are doing, just stick to yourself. And do not lie to yourself. Like I said earlier, do not lie to yourself. Do not lie to yourself. I think I have Olubunmi here, but Olubunmi is going to join us at exactly 5:15, and this is 5:13. So we have 2 more minutes to go. And if you are just joining us, this is Primus Media City in Ibadan, Oluyole Estate, and we are having a lawyer and a policy expert today as a guest, Mr. Olubunmi, who is going to be, Mr. Olubunmi and Yetunde, yes, who is going to be discussing the rights of every citizen to vote. So, can we go on a short break? When we are back, we continue with Mr. Olubunmi. Thank you.
We give you the right tunes, the right vibe. All in one in all. It is Primus. It sparkles the world. Primus Radio.
Express, exhibit, and explore.
Offering the sounds that shapes the heart. Making the turn inward towards beauty. We are Primus.
Moments like this demands getting lost with the right and good people of the community. It is a season of celebration with Rotaract District 9125, Nigeria. We are taking another bold step of successful power exchange at the investiture and fundraising ceremony of the 14th District Rotaract representative to be led by Rotaractor Olaleye Gbolan Opeyemi PHF. To support the impactful event, take advantage of our adverts and Goodwill magazine offers. Inner front page 150,000 naira, while the back page is 150,000 naira. While Goodwill rate is 20,000 naira for a full page, 10,000 naira half page, and 5,000 naira for quarter page. Offer valid till 31st of July 2022. Also, registration for the event is 35,000 naira for a table of 10 and 3,000 naira for individuals. The event holds by 10 a.m. on Saturday, the 13th day of August 2022 at Rolat Event Center, Ibadan, Oyo State. For further information, call 0703 442 7974 or 0803 682 9817. Come and be a blessing to your community.
Courtesy, Rotaract Ayodele James.
Maven.
Yes, you're welcome back. This is Primus Media City, and if you're just joining us, my name is Daniela Ajanaku, and like I said earlier, today we have Mr. Olubunmi Ayotunji. He's a lawyer and he's also a policy expert. He's going to be discussing a right to vote as a citizen. You know, so many people don't even know that they have that. Mr. Olubunmi, are you there? Can you hear me clearly? I'm not hearing him. I can't hear you. If you are hearing me, I can hear you. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, I think it's better now. So we
I
want
think
to
you were
say
muted or something.
yes, I think so. Good afternoon to you over there from
Good afternoon, Tanya.
we are saying a very good afternoon from all of us at Primus Media City. I want to say a very big thanks to you for joining us today. And we are sorry if we are taking too much of your time. So thank you very much. And first of all, please, can you do a short introduction of yourself?
All right, my name is Olubunmi Ayotunji. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, clearly.
All right, my name is Olubunmi Ayotunji. I'm a legal practitioner.
Okay.
I'm a legislative aide at the Nigerian National Assembly, the Senate arm,
Wow.
and the policy and research aide to the distinguished Senator Tolulope Odebi,
Okay.
the current acting chairman of the Senate Committee on the FCT and the vice chairman of the Senate Committee on Marine Transport.
Wow.
I also lead a team called the Polyfix Incorporated in Nigeria, one of Nigeria's emerging lobbying firm, headquartered in Abuja. Of course, I stay in Abuja too. And you would say, like you say, I deal with policies of government, governmental white papers, and I talk to people like you. So I think that works.
You talk to people like us. Thank you very much for. So let's just go straight to the business of the day. Like the topic is the constitutional right of every citizen to vote. And why do you think voting is important? Let's start from that. Do you think voting is important?
Yeah, I think I'll rephrase your question, right? Currently, I do not think any citizen in Nigeria needs to be told that voting is important or whether voting is important or not.
Do you know some
It's
people still
actually
don't
right now.
believe? Do you know some people still don't believe that voting is important? They'll tell you, my vote don't count. You already know who is going to get in.
Yeah, but the problem is if your votes don't count, why do they buy it? If your votes don't count, why do they come to your houses? Why do they host rallies? Why do they meet you? Why do they beg you? Why do they literally turn to beggars when we have elections? The problem is until citizens take the issues of uh, elections and electoral procedures and processes as an existential issue, then we'll continue to have problems. For example, right, in 2019, we had over 84 million Nigerians that registered to vote. And we had less than 34% of that number voting, actually. Now, when you have less than 11 million persons dictating who leads 200 million persons, then you know there's a problem. But currently, right, I think we've moved from that apathy to people, especially young persons, actually taking the lead as regards voting. INEC said from last year June till this June, we actually had about, I think, roughly 6.4 million new registrations.
Wow.
That's to tell you that the policies of government currently and the actions of this government are indirectly or are positively or negatively affecting the means of livelihood of persons. And now they understand the need to elect good leaders. And the fact that Nigerians now understand that a policy of government, just one executive order, can send you out of business. One morning, the government woke up in this country and banned Twitter. Some people's businesses suffered, people's livelihood were crushed from that moment on. So Nigerians now understand that voting is an existential issue. And if you do not vote, you have actually voted by not voting. Because by not voting, you have allowed the minority, quote and unquote, to decide who governs you. And now let me say it in pidgin. Now all of us go suffer the suffer.
Exactly, we are actually suffering.
It's not like, yes, it's not like, okay, when the government says VAT has been increased to maybe 20%, they will say, okay, the people that have voted will pay 19, and if you don't vote, 20. We all suffer it the same way. So voting is actually an existential issue, and that's why Article 21 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights provides that the will of the people shall be the basis of the authority of government, and this shall be expressed in periodic and genuine elections, And if that is the case, persons need to understand that one of the hallmark of a democracy is the expression of your franchise and of your political rights through franchise. So I do not think people are lagging behind. Nigerians are actually now understanding why they should vote, and hopefully going into 2023 elections, we'll have more persons that will vote.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olubumi. And one of the things that I realize is that most of these voters are not educated. They don't even. Do you think there's a need for us to start educating the voters, or we should just let them do whatever it is that they think is right? Or do you think voting is a legal right of every citizen?
Okay, I'll start from your last question, right? Do you know of all the 8 fundamental human rights we have in Nigeria, in the Constitution, in Chapter 4 of the Constitution, the voting right is not a fundamental human right in Nigeria. I hope you know that.
Whoa.
Of all the 8 fundamental human rights, voting rights, save for the sections of the Electoral Act and Section 71 to 77 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic that gives INEC the right to conduct elections into the National Assembly and the rest of it. The Constitution, nowhere in the Constitution would you find where they say you can vote and be voted for.
So it's not legal.
Yeah, it's not that. However, Nigeria is signatory to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which actually provides that you have the right and the state must actually conduct elections and let people express their will to vote. And also we have the Electoral Act that provides that people should vote. Now, so that is taken care of. Secondly, you said, do we need voter education?
Yes.
There are two reasons why we need voter education, right? No, you know, there are some persons that vote and their votes are nullity. In Oshun recently,
Yeah.
we had over 800,000 void votes, I think. So imagine people
That is
lining
why
up.
I'm saying that people actually need voter education.
So we need a robust voter education. Now, aside the fact that you collect your PVC, there's a need to actually keep your PVC. There's a need to actually go early to register to vote. There's a need to there's a way you thumbprint to vote so that your vote will not be voided. Then you wait till your vote is counted. So it's a process. The electoral process is a process. It's not just about registering to vote and voting. It goes beyond that. So citizens need to know. And that's why I love what you guys are doing at Primus Media, right? Letting citizens understand the need to vote
Exactly.
sometimes in their local languages, going into the interland and villages and telling them that they need to vote because the electoral process goes way beyond registering to vote. So there's so much that is involved here. And we need more voter education. INEC is not doing badly, we have community outreaches. We currently, I think recently in Lagos, there was a rally where celebrities came together and had young persons, things like that should be encouraged and should be taken into villages and interlands. And that's why we have persons, organizations like Primus Media doing things that you're doing. So it's a good one. And I really encourage you guys. Kudos.
Thank you very much. Because yesterday I was interviewing some set of guys, and I asked them that if they've had their voters card, and what their complaint was that there is a lot of numbers of people at the INEC office. So do you think there is, or let me say, what do you think we can do to reduce because if you get to the INEC office, even this morning I was still at the INEC office, you need to see the numbers of people. There are some people that they will tell you, I cannot wait for this so amount to start wasting my time. I left my job, I do this. Do you think we can start having an online registration and people will just come online, do their stuff, then get their PVC? Do you think this kind of a thing can work in Nigeria? Because the rate at which, if you know the amount of people that have not collected their PVC is much.
Yeah, I agree with you. However, while I would say that there's no price that is too high to pay for the betterment of one's country, I would say that, all right, we can do online registration. However, how would you do your thumb printing online? How would they get the image of your face on their system online? There are some things that they need to do for the security of the entire system. One. And secondly, right, we should also know that, to be fair to INEC, they started this thing since June last year. And the pressure is now coming in, probably because of the need or because of a certain third force that I would not want to mention on air. So what we're saying now is that INEC is doing something which is really ingenious, right? INEC is giving private, for example, churches and organizations, right?
Yeah.
They are partnering with them. For example, in Abuja, there's a church in where I won't want to mention names on there again, that has the INEC has partnered with, where their church members and every other person belonging to the faith and even to the other faith can go there and register. So I would just advise that INEC partners with organizations like that. Giving them the franchise to make people vote, to make people register to vote with them, And we don't have INEC does not have the massive facility to take in as much registration as the upsurge that we are getting currently. And they are trying, What we are actually pushing for, that is that the CVR exercise that is built to end by the 31st of this month also be shifted, because we still have, like you said, so many persons that have not registered, and they need to be captured, and it's their right to actually get registered. But then all the blames cannot be put at INEC's door. Like I explained, they've started this since last year. Secondly, the facilities and infrastructure that they have are limited. And thirdly, I think citizens would have to understand that there's no price that is too big to pay for the betterment of one's country.
Thank you very much. We're going to go on a short break now. When we are back, we continue with Mr. Olubumi. And if you are just joining us. This is Primus Media City in Ibadan, and we have Mr. Olubumi Ayatunji on the show today. Is discussing and is educating us on the responsibilities of the voters. And when we are back, we'll continue. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you one of the best choirs in the city of Lagos, Nigeria. Come on now.
That's a beat to today. 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 Ọmọ bàbá.
Lady what?
Lèmi ṣe.
Nípa who?
Nípa ìgbàgbọ́. Nínú Jésù.
Say what? Say what?
Ṣebí bàbá mi.
Lónìí náà.
Lónìí o.
Let's go.
Kí máa yin fanda, kí máa yan fanda, 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 kí máa yin fanda.
Are you ready for stage two? Are you ready for stage two? 1, 2, 3, let's go. Say.
Ìdèmí ti já, ṣẹ̀kẹ̀ṣẹ̀kẹ̀ ti bọ́,
Ṣẹ̀kẹ̀ṣẹ̀kẹ̀ ti bọ́.
ọ̀run ti ṣí, ire mi wọlé dé. Mo ti lálùyọ, omi lórí skyscraper. Mo ti wà lókè, má lọ́nà gẹ̀rẹ̀, wá bá mi lókè.
I'm seated in His glory. If you look me, you can see, say, I am over. I does it then get bust. It does it bust in my brain. Everywhere I go, I got papa, I'm in all the air. Oh, Baba.
Lady what?
Lèmi ṣe.
I can hear you.
Nípa ìgbàgbọ́.
Say what? Say what?
Nínú Jésù.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ṣebí bàbá mi.
you don't mean it.
Lónìí o.
Let's go.
Kí máa yin fanda, kí máa yan fanda, 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 kí máa yin fanda, kí máa yin fanda, kí máa yin fanda, kí máa yan.
If you have a message, think Primus. If you have a gift, think Primus. If you have a dream, think Primus. Primus Radio. Express, exhibit, and explore.
Mr. Olubumi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you clearly. Oh,
Alright.
so you are welcome back, and I think we have to go on a short break earlier. I think I sent the. Can you send the Zoom link to? I think some other people joined, so I think
Yeah.
maybe they're
So
from
my
your
team
end.
members, yeah.
Yes. So I have to send the link to others too. Okay. Quick one. What are the roles of? Because some people actually sent in some questions while we are
All right.
live. What are the roles, or let me say, responsibilities of voters? And okay, this person asks that who has the right to vote? Because in North there are some underage that vote. And they said, yeah, such a thing is not allowed. So who has the right to vote? I don't know if you get the question. That was what the person said. The person said, who has the right to vote? Because in North, they have some underage who vote, and such a thing is not allowed here. So I don't know if you can. Is there any law that says that a particular age can vote and a particular age cannot vote? What's happening?
If you have a message, think Primus. If you
Maven.
Oh, so I think Mr. Olubumi is back. So can you hear me now, please?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, please.
Sorry about the breaking connection. So, like I said earlier, some people actually sent in some questions.
All right.
That who has the right to vote? Because outside, in North, there are some underage that vote and they count and their vote is being counted. Is there a law that says that anybody can vote?
All right. To answer that question quickly, yeah. Hope you can hear me, please.
Yes.
All right. Underage voting is illegal anywhere in the world. Our suffrage or our age for voting is 18 years and is recognized anywhere and everywhere. Every allegation of underage voting should actually be part of the matter any interested petitioner should include when he or she is going to the tribunal.
Well, these things happen
Underage voting should
almost
not even
all
be
the
counted.
time.
It's illegal. It's criminal.
These things happen
It's
almost all
criminal
the time
for
outside the.
underage person. As a lawyer, right? When people say things are happening, he who asserts must prove. If you say we don't just rely on what you listen on or what you hear on blogs and soft sell magazines. If you're saying underage persons voted, why is the person not going? The person affected not going to court? And how do you even know that a person that is voting is underage? We don't judge by sizes. You don't judge. We're not moved by emotions and sentiments here. He who asserts, again, I said, must prove. If you're saying underage voters, they were underage voters in an election, you go to court. But as of today, in our jurisprudence in this country, underage voting is illegal.
Thank you very much. Is there a roles and responsibilities for voters? Is there a roles and responsibilities that voters needs to play?
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. There are a lot of roles for the electorate. That's for voters, yeah. And one of them is that, first of all, is that you must show up for elections. You must older. I don't know what is wrong, man. Can you hear me, please? Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, so we can hear you.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what is wrong with my network provider. All right. First of all, one of the rights or one of the roles of the electorate is to show up to vote or is to register to vote. And when you register to vote, you show up to vote. And when you show up to vote, you make sure you vote rightly. Because before now, we always joke that you vote with your thumb, right? But apparently you do not vote with your thumb. You vote with your index finger. Because if you vote with your thumb, because of the space that you have in between ballots, it can flow into another person's ballot, and that vote will be counted as invalid. So most people do not know this, and that's why you have so many invalid ballots here and there, especially in Osun. It was a very massive cause for concern that we have a whole large of votes that were invalid. That automatically means they've been disenfranchised. So there are a whole lot of roles that the electorate needs to understand that they should do. For example, you do not resort to brigandage. If INEC has made it so easy now that elections are transmitted virtually and immediately. So when you vote and you wait for elections to be counted, it automatically, when sent, reflects on INEC's website. So one of your rules, I dare say again, is to remain calm and not resort to self-help when you have some ECOPs here and there in the process of the elections. Basically, it's the right and the role of the state to make sure that your votes count, and it stops at that.
Oh, thank you very much. And another person drops a question. He said that, is there a way that there can be a provision for the voters? Like, it is a very, very sad thing when you see voters voting under the rain and under the sun. There is no adequate provision for voters. And is it that most everything in Nigeria comes with suffering? Like, do we have to suffer to make sure that we get some things right? And some people have this mentality that, okay, they already know who they want to put in there. They don't need that voting. And what can we do? So the reason why I'm packing all these questions is that we don't really have much time. What can we do to people who go to on election day who start selling their votes? What can we do? Is there any way we can stop that?
That's a whole lot of questions. You just spoke like a comrade, like an activist. So I'll break the questions down. Yeah. First of all, is the question of voting infrastructure.
Exactly.
We should know
no
that
proper provision.
The amount to spend on voting every 4 years in this country is whooping, and still it's not enough. Now, I do not think INEC has that money to provide for infrastructures and coverings or shelter.
Do you think there is nothing? Do you think there is something in this country that we cannot provide? There's nothing we want to do in this country that we cannot do. We just choose not to do that because they just allow people to just suffer. Like, that suffering is actually just part of us. Like, it is like.
No, I disagree with you. Do you know why I disagree with you? I understand where you're coming from, sincerely, but I think again that as a people or as the government will say, there are priorities. Naturally, with the way we conduct elections in this country, elections should not be held in closed spaces. I don't know if you hear me clearly. If it's like that, it's like schools, it's like the end of the classes. But because of the nature of our people and the nature of election, is called an open ballot, open secret balloting system. Sorry. People must see what is going on. If we say INEC is building probably a shelter for the electorate now, people will say, what are they hiding? What do they want to hide?
Exactly.
Bring it outside. People will say, our people actually do not mind seeing it as long as they would not be cheated. If you should understand that there is a trust deficit between the electorate and the government. If government says, okay, let people vote in all, let people vote where they would have shelter, people will start saying, what are you hiding? You want a hall where somebody will just pass with the ballot box through the window. The standard of our elections currently and the realities we are faced with dictates that elections be held in open spaces. So I think for now, we just have to, and that method has helped us thus far, the fact that election are, so people see real time what is going on, even people that are not voting. And I think that has helped us more than it has affected us. And I, for one, will say it should remain that way. When we get to the level where Nigerians can vote electronically, then that will solve that problem. But currently, we don't have that facility. We should continue our open secret balloting system where people can see live what is going on. That's for that. As regards vote buying, I think I would first of all talk about the people that offer to buy votes and the people that collect money, because both parties are criminals. I would not want to exonerate anybody. However, I exonerate the use of poverty as a weapon on our people. Yeah. First of all, vote buying shows that anybody that offers to buy your vote already tells you he's not going to do anything. The reality of our times dictates that political offices are no more lucrative like it used to be. So anybody that offers money to buy your vote would definitely want to recoup his money. And most of the time, they can't recoup it in the 4 years, so they are literally not doing anything. So the moment a man offers you 2,000, 4,000, you should divide it by the years he's going to use in office, because you are being paid off totally. Your children's fees, your pipe-borne water, your electricity, and proper representation is what they paid you for. So we should educate our people that 5,000, 4,000, 10,000 naira cannot buy your future. Yes, poverty has been enshrined in the system, but these people are not honest. If they are truly honest, why are they buying you when it's close to elections? People that do not know your house now see you on the line, want you to change your life and the life of the children.
Sorry to cut you off, Mr. Olubumi. Do you know that sometimes I wonder that why do people just sit and then they cannot think? Why do you think 4,000 naira is going to be enough for you for the next 4 years? Because people will just come to you, give you 10,000 naira.
No, you can't blame most of those people. Let me give you an example. In 2019, there was somebody that was interviewed in the northern part of Nigeria. I won't want to mention the state. He was giving 10,000 naira and he started crying. And they asked him why he started crying. He said he has never seen that money in over a year.
Can you imagine?
So when you give somebody that has not held 10,000 in 365 days, 10,000 naira, now imagine how the person will feel. We should not talk from the elitist point of view. I would say you are the elite, you can the rest of the poor. So every 1 naira matters to them. We should also talk about the government weaponizing poverty. However, what we should tell them is that this 10,000 does not even represent 1 kobo of what you should have. You should have more. Your money is in the hands of this man. So he's giving you 1% of the 100 million that you and your kids should have. When Nigerians know that they can have better, they would demand better.
Exactly.
When you know that your father's worth, for example, is 10 million, you can ask 2 million. But when somebody tells you, or his account officer tells you that is worth 500 million, you ask for 100 million. So they don't even know. These people do not even know that there's something called constituency allowances or there's something called budgetary allowances.
It's part of education we're talking about. It's part of the education. So people actually need to be educated.
yes, ignorance is a major problem.
So
when we fix that, they would demand better. I would keep saying you can actually be bribed. You can actually, your vote can be bought. However, tell them if they can pay maybe 10 million, 15 million per person, or maybe 100 million per person.
A price. Yeah.
You know, you get. So I would say the people just need to know better. And once they know better, they'll be liberated. There's no holding a people that is knowledgeable. Not at all.
Thank you very much. And another person asked that, is there a right to recall an elected representative? As if maybe the person that is representing a particular, what's it called? A particular, maybe an elected legislator, maybe he's not doing well or something. Is there a right to summon the person, to withdraw the mandate?
Yes. The Constitution expressly provides for the right.
But I've never seen such a thing. Such a thing has never happened. Such a thing has never. Such a thing hardly happened.
It has happened before, but it didn't pull through. If you remember, there was a time Senator Dino Melaye was planned to be recalled by his constituents, but it didn't pull through. There's a process. I think 2/3 of the elected, 2/3 of the persons that voted must actually sign and send to INEC that they want their representative elected. INEC will now come to the constituency to actually hold more of a, I don't know, I won't call it an election, but get to verify those signatures, whether it is true that they want their elected representative recalled. Then they send that to the Senate or the House of Representatives, and the seat of the person is declared vacant. Now, there is a very clear process to do this. However, it is quite complicated, to my own opinion. And Nigerians, especially most Nigerians, do not even know that they can recall their elected legislator. Nigerians, or the electorate, or the people, should understand that they are the employers here, and politicians are their employees. They have the right to hire and fire. You know, that's why we have the power to remove our representatives, the Senate and the House of Rep, have the power to remove the president. There's no word like impeachment in the Constitution. They have the power to remove the president through a stated process. The people have the power to remove or recall their elected representative. It's in the Constitution. It's constitutional. You just need a percentage of person to do that. So that is legal, and it's already in the Constitution. You can recall your elected.
I would have loved to. Thank you very much. I would have loved to read a lot of questions, but we do not have such time. So, in just 2 or 3 minutes, Mr. Olubumi, can you just give our listener, and because I know this interview is recorded, it's going to be posted on Facebook and on YouTube, so people are still going to listen to it. So, please, can you just give them maybe a short advice, maybe just advice, and let them know that the 10,000 naira is not going to take them anywhere. In fact, it's not going to even last them 1 week. And that is not the way forward.
All right. I would start by saying one of the most potent power in the world that the people have is that card that they have in their hand called the permanent voters card in Nigeria. In the case of Nigeria. But Mr.
Olubumi, do you think that our card, do you think it really counts?
Let me put it that way.
Do you think our vote really counts in Nigeria? This is one of the...
Yes. No, I think the assertion that votes don't count should be dispelled with. You are a journalist. Whatever, you studied what happened in Osun. Did votes count? It did count. The vote of those people, but the people spoke expressly, and they removed an incumbent governor. They voted and their votes counted, you know. So the idea that votes don't count is an old, archaic idea. Because when you vote now, right from the ward level, your vote or your cumulative vote shows on INEC's portal immediately. So those things, you know, where the majority of the discrepancy happens is when they are leaving the ward level to the local government level, then they are going to the capital. Exactly. Vote starts missing. But now the electronic improvisations that have been introduced into the whole process has made it very, very seamless. So your vote will count. It really will count. The elections that was held in Edo, the elections that was held in Ekiti, the elections that was held in Osun, the issues they had, or the issues INEC and the observers had, were vote buying, not that votes never counted. Vote counts now, and anybody that tells you your vote will not count is just as archaic as he or she does not want to vote. It's just an excuse that does not hold water. It falls flat to its face. So again, conclusively, I'd say that Nigerians should understand that they deserve better, because there is actually better. Like you said, anything that we can't do in this country is because we do not want to do it. And one of the ways we can get these people to work is by letting them know that we can fire them when they don't work, and we can always hire somebody that actually wants to work. So voting is an existential issue, and we should go in that line to vote for whoever that has a track record to deliver. Nigerians have that right, and we should actually use it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olubumi Ayatunji. We want to say very, very, very thank you for your time. We say, and we hope when you call you some other time that you're going to answer us, because we still have a lot of questions. We still have a lot of questions, but we do not have time. And from all of us from Primus Media City, we say a very big thanks to you. If you are here physically, there is a game that we normally play, but since you are not here, we cannot play the game. And there's a gift that we always give our guests. Don't worry, I will help you to collect that gift, I promise you.
Yes, you would have to send mine. You'd have to send
I
mine.
will
Ask you for that.
I will help you to collect that gift. There's a gift we always give our guests. So until next time, until next edition, we want to say a very big thanks to all our listeners and all our viewers out there. And like Mr. Olubumi has said, see, 10,000 naira will not take you anywhere. It's not going to do us anything. And please stop having this mentality that our votes don't count, because most of the people I've interviewed, they will tell you, once you're already when you're Tom but they already know who they are going to put there. No. That was then. Now it is no longer. As you are voting, your vote is counting. So there's nothing like votes don't count. No. Your vote counts. And we want to let you know that whatever it is that you chose to do, it is still coming back. If you choose to sit at home and not do anything, we'll see the results. And if you choose to go out there to go and vote, we'll actually see the results. Until some other time, until next week, where we are going to be having another guest on the show. My name is Teniola Ajanaku, and I'm wishing you a wonderful week ahead. Bye.
We give you the right tunes